Right of the government in the UK to bypass Parliament to trigger the procedures to leave the European Union is ongoing. During the UK Supreme Court's second day of hearing the Brexit appeal, lawyers argued whether or not the government has the right to go ahead with Brexit.
During the UK Supreme Court's second day of hearing the Brexit appeal, opposing lawyers heatedly debated whether or not the government has the right of bypassing Parliament to trigger the procedures to leave the European Union. Tuesday's court hearing lasted for about 5 hours and a half and still leaves 2 more days of the hearing to go. The government lawyer, James Eadie, insisted on the royal prerogative, which allows the cabinet to implement a plan to leave an international treaty without Parliament's approval. He warned the judges that a pro-Parliament verdict may result in a serious constitutional trap. The Parliament lawyer, David Panic, argued that the June 23rd referendum didn't grant the government the privilege to unilaterally initiate the Brexit talk with their counterparts of the EU countries. A political analyst who's been closely observing this case said that he predicted the government will lose the lawsuit.
I attended the 2-day hearing in the High Court, and I agree with the decision that the judges made. And I believe that the Supreme Court judges are going to agree with the High Court.
In the meantime, the opposition Labour Party MPs required the government to reveal details of their Brexit plan at the Prime Minister's questions on Wednesday, whose request is supported by some pro-EU conservative backbenchers.
Okay, it's a few weeks to the end of the year. The festive season is around the corner and consumers are preparing to buy more for their families and friends. Also, the budget is in the news, with President Buhari expected to present the bill to the National Assembly next Wednesday, and concerns over the oil benchmark for 2017 is also on the rise. Bolale Lutosi is a research analyst with the Financial Derivatives Company Limited, and she joins us from Lagos. Hello, Bolale. Okay, the 2017 budget, let's start with the budget now, is represented to the legislation on Wednesday next week, 14th of December. How realistic are the assumptions in the budget?
Look at 2 assumptions of the budget. The first one will be the exchange rate based on which is quoted at 290 naira to the dollar. This is extremely unrealistic due to the fact that current exchange rate in the parallel market is about 485 naira to the dollar, and in the official market it's about 305 naira to the dollar. According to our PPP analysis, purchasing power parity analysis, the equilibrium rate of exchange rates should be around 340 or 320 to 340 naira to the dollar. So the budget based on that assumption is not going to work. Another assumption that the budget is based on is the 2.2 million barrels of oil production in 2017. Currently, our oil production is about 1.6 million barrels a day. With the Niger Delta militant still in action, we don't expect that our production levels will reach that 2.2 million barrels quoted. However, if the government focuses at initiatives to kind of dampen the actions of the Niger Delta militant, then we should see this move towards the 2.2 million barrels target.
Okay, so when do we expect the budget to be passed, and how do we expect it to impact on the economy?
Well, optimistically, we expect the budget to be passed in Q1, early in Q1. However, the budget was supposed to be presented in October 2016, which was then shifted to December, 1st of December, and now 14th of December. Given the trend for the last budget in 2016, which was passed in May, we expect that obviously this budget will be passed later on in the year, or at the end of Q1, to be optimistic. The impact on consumers or individuals within the economy, the budget is extremely important, and it's not just about passing the budget, it's also about implementation. So if we pass the budget on time, it's easier to implement, it's easier to start, working on some of these policies that the government has suggested in the budget. Passing the budget on time would, create more injections in the economy. Investors will be extremely calm or extremely optimistic about the direction of the economy as well. So it's a good thing if the budget is passed on time.
Before I let you go, Bolale, let's talk about Christmas and shopping. Of course, Christmas is usually associated with shopping and a lot of shopping activities. However, the present economic situation may not allow that to happen at a large scale. So what kind of agri-commodities do you think consumers will be going for during this period?
Well, the staple foods like rice, the price is currently about 24,000 naira per bag. This is usually the go-to food for Nigerians. However, given the current economic situations, we should see movement to more affordable commodities like potatoes, different types of potatoes, beans, swallows like eba, gari, and all these types of other substitutes. But as Nigerians, rice is the major, any parties, whatever parties you go for, everyone wants to eat rice. So we feel like, rice will still be demanded at that high price, but the demand should, fall.
Thank you so much, Bolale Olutosi, a research analyst with the Financial Derivatives Company Limited.
Thank you.
Now, the head of the International Fund for Agricultural Development, Nigerian-born Dr. Kanayo Nwanze, says Africa is a leader in world poverty and hunger owing to lack of committed leadership and rampant corruption. Dr. Kanayo was speaking at the UK's House of Lords on Wednesday. Dr. Kanayo says despite its rich natural resources, including arable land, Africa yet generates only 10% of its agricultural output, while spending some $35 billion on food imports each year. The head of the UN agency says African leaders should stop talking about change and deliver it, in particular investment in smallholder agriculture. Mr. Nwanze says the future of agriculture lies in the hands of the continent's young generation. We'll go on a break now, and when Business Incorporated returns, we'll be talking about the Gabon and Chinese trade relations. Stay with us.